Let's start with the news. The British voted to leave the European Union. There's been a fair amount of turbulence in financial markets. How do you assess how the global financial system has absorbed that shock, if you want to use that term, and more specifically, how the U.S. has absorbed it?
John, I think the global financial system was reasonably well prepared for the initial shock. Even though the vote itself was unexpected in many quarters, the Bank of England had done an enormous amount of work overseeing the UK banks to make sure that they were in a very viable liquidity position. Our banks had, the US banks had run internal stress tests to try to predict the kinds of developments which they might encounter in the immediate aftermath of the vote. And there, as I think you saw, notwithstanding flight to quality and the down push in equity markets, it was something that the financial system was better able to absorb than in some instances of turbulence in the past. But as people have said from the outset, that was just the initial reaction, and I think we're all going to have to watch to see over the medium term how macroeconomic developments play out. The one thing that we can be certain about is that there's a good bit of uncertainty as to what the future holds for the precise relationship of the UK to the European Union in terms of the kind of exit agreements that they will negotiate. And when there's uncertainty, as everyone knows, there is some inhibiting effect upon investment decisions and maybe household decisions as well. How much of that turns out to be the case, well, we'll just have to see. And I know that central banks in the UK and in Frankfurt are very much focused on developments and responding as appropriate to developments. In terms of the U.S., again, I think things to this point have gone about what we expected as sort of the medium scenario. But again, that was just the first chapter in developments, and we will be monitoring developments, the macroeconomic developments closely, as we would in any case.